I think that trying to have a quarterback like Russell Wilson, who is spent his entire career in Seattle, switch teams while also bringing in a new head coach, and then giving Russ all this empowerment to decide what kind of offense they're going to run, what plays they're going to run, while also incorporating a brand new offense. Like he's running Nathaniel Hackett's West Coast offense instead of.
Do we know that he's been empowered, or that's Brinson speculation?
I mean, Peyton Manning said it like week one. He's like, okay. I talked to Russ.
Okay.
Like, and that sort of spoke to the play clock issues. I think that this.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. Let me push back. You're taking the blame off Nathaniel Hackett and putting it on Russ for that. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's a collaborative F up.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, like Hackett, by virtue of the trade, Hackett sort of. I mean,
what happened first, Hackett or Russ?
Hackett.
Okay,
I believe. Yeah, Hackett for sure, because they wanted to bring in Aaron Rodgers, and they whiffed on Rodgers. They went after Russ.
Right. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't know. I just think that it's an unfamiliarity with whatever he's running. Also, Russell Wilson's style of play does not we saw, I think it was Steve Young or maybe it was RG. Somebody in the pregame show was like showing Russ needs more of this. And Russ is running like 700 miles horizontally behind the line of scrimmage looking for an open play. And then, it was Larry Fitz. He was like, I've been burned a bunch by this. And he like shows him like throwing this, like just like he's off his back foot, like bomb to Doug Baldwin, who makes this great catch on the sidelines. Point being is like, you can't run this West Coast offense that Hackett is based out of when you doing the things that Russ wants to do as a quarterback. And so like those two things don't mesh well.
What does Russ want to do? Because it's unclear to me that
he wants to run around and do Russ stuff.
Yeah, but when
a good example of that though is the 3rd and 1 on the Broncos' first possession, the screen grab that went around Twitter, where Russell Wilson drops back to pass, literally has someone wide open, wide open, 5 yards in front of him. Any one of us probably could have made the throw. I don't think Russell Wilson saw the person, and then he ran around, got sacked, and now you have 4th and 5, and you have to kick a field goal.
Did Russ do this?
You have a quarterback who is running an offense that does not cater to his specific improvisational skill set.
Yeah, I feel like
and you have a coach who's in his first year.
Are you making excuses for Russ? Like I don't.
I'm saying that this is why it's not working.
Okay, because I think that Russ he was drafted in 2012, so this is year 11 for him. He should be able to run any offense. If you put Aaron Rodgers in this offense, it's going to work because they worked together previously. Nathaniel Hackett, but here's the thing: it worked with Blake Bortles in 2017. So, I again, this is what I said on the show. I don't know. Last time we had to watch these idiots play in primetime and we're frustrated by it. Yeah, Russ is why Brazil says in the chat, Russ is looking for Jesus to take the wheel. The problem is he makes more than Jesus, so he needs to be the one in the driver's seat. To your point, Breech, I don't remember the play you're talking about, but I know a couple times, and Troy Aikman actually mentioned this, the Chargers brought 5, and when they bring 5 or 6, it's a hot read. Like, I even know that. I don't know jack squat about
you make it all off the line. You tell a guy to.
And all I know is twice on 2 occasions when I was half paying attention, Cortland Sutton's running a shallow immediately after the ball is snapped, and Russ, to your point, Brinson, is running around like he's looking to make some big play. The one big play he did make, he wasn't able to step in through it, and KJ Hamler made that nice catch down the field. That ball could have been intercepted. Bad things could have happened. That was sort of the big-ish play for Russ. But, again, he looks nothing like what we saw in Seattle. And as this season progresses, the more I sort of understand, while Pete Carroll was passive-aggressively trolling Russ in that Week 1 game, it felt like Pete Carroll felt like he was being vindicated for taking all the heat for Russ. I showed you guys a clip earlier. I put it in Slack. I was talking to Billy about this before you guys came on. Richard Sherman on his podcast talking to Marshawn about how, Richard Sherman was basically slighting Russ for being Russ for the reasons that we've heard reported, including that you have to call Russ's manager if you want to talk to him, which makes sense if it's one of us trying to get in touch with Russ. It makes less sense if you're Marshawn or Sherman. In Marshawn's defense, he's like, look, I want to get Russ straight. I have his back. I don't think he should have to endure this. I've endured similar things playing for terrible teams. He mentioned his time in Buffalo when the Bills were terrible. I get all that, but there's too much invested in Russ Too much was given up by the Broncos for us to be this terrible. Whatever the offense, whatever the reason, I'm blaming Russ 51%. I'm blaming Nathaniel Hackett 49% because he's the head coach. I don't care that he's been there one year.
Somebody I missed it. Somebody flew back up. Somebody in the chat made the point that Darrell Bevel, the old obviously OC for the Seahawks, was West Coast. Yes, of course. He came out of the I think Holmgren Green Bay coaching staff.
Yeah, that's my point. I don't care about all the running around.
But my point, the principles are the same. But the Seahawks, when Bevel was there with Russ, first, second, third, and then finally 20th and 21st. The offense kind of sucked in 2016 and 2017. They were so run heavy. Like this is not like a, it wasn't Russ doing like 3-step ding 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 ding. Like
Russ was on a rookie deal. Russ is now.
Right, but it was a Pete Carroll offense, is what I'm saying.
It was Darrell Bevel offense, right?
Oh, but I mean, it's Darrell Bevel was the OC, but it's Pete Carroll is like, look, dude, we're running the ball with Marshawn Lynch, and we want you to. It was sort of a modified West Coast thing where they had Russ running stuff that he ran at Wisconsin, which he was great at because he's so good at play action, where he bootlegs out and he sees the field deep and can read it like that. Whatever they're doing isn't working.
I don't think
the larger point.
Well, let me turn it on you. What would work for this version of Russ Wilson, who appears to be absolutely utterly terrible? There's the if you're watching on YouTube,
real quick, if you're watching on YouTube, this is the 3rd and 1. All they had to do is get to the 28-yard line.
I don't see anyone open, Breech. Who are you looking at?
Actually, you're right. We could actually make those throws.
Are you serious, Russ?
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, okay. That's actually. I mean, I could make that throw.
This is a 3rd and 1. There is no doubt.
You don't have to be 5'1". You can be 3'7", and you.
But Brinson, the difference is that Breech can throw the ball 40 yards. You can only throw the ball 20
But this isn't missing the slant in overtime against the Colts, where maybe you didn't look to your right. Like if that's guys your third read, like there's an excuse for missing that. There's no excuse for missing this throw.
So like when I'm doing my junior draft analyst stuff and I'm trying to watch these quarterbacks and figure out what's going on, a lot of times what happens in these screenshots is that we sort of pick and choose what looks open and what doesn't look open. So if you look at Russ's helmet, he's looking to the right. And the question you have to ask yourself is, what the hell is he looking at to the right? Because I think he
needs 1 yard.
Right, exactly. It's not like
doesn't this go back to the KJ Hamler non-throw from the last time we did a Russ game where the Broncos didn't like. For whatever reason, he's looking at the wrong place.
But here's the thing. He may not be looking at the wrong place, Brinson. Maybe that's the first read. But here's the thing. If you just look, as Breech notes, 5 yards to your left as you go through this progression, presumably it's from right to left. And again, we have no idea, but he's one of the highest paid people in the league. You see someone who is, to quote Bruce Arians, wide ass open. And why aren't you making that throw? And if I was watching, some Division II quarterback, I'd be like, okay, that's a throw that anyone on Sunday should be able to make. And apparently you can make it on Sunday, but not on Monday. I don't know what the reason is that he missed this throw, other than it feels like he does a lot of one look. And to your point, Brinson, earlier about this muddled offense, one look and run.
Well, he's clearly, I mean, like he's looking, I think it's Judy on the right side, trying to, and they're playing zone. They got the guys dropped in zone, obviously. But like he's not looking
1 yard. You need 1 yard. That's it. Like,
right. Yeah. So again, like I'm not trying to make excuses for Russ, like just like the last primetime game. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to be the Russell Wilson apologist.
Yeah,
why is this presumably,
how much did Sierra send you? 10 grand?
How much? Why is he looking right when there's a guy who could clear it over the middle?
But maybe that's just the slant's there, and then this is the check down. Okay, we haven't even seen the play. But my point is that if you're making, I don't know, what is he? Does he make $45 million? What does he make?
A lot.
Yeah, if you make $45 million plus a year, you should be able to come off a slant and then throw the check down in the middle of the field with no one in front of you. Like he's short, but there's no one between him and the receiver that would get the first down. And would you say Breech at 29? They needed?
Yeah, the 29-yard line is where they need.
And this guy's standing at 35. So, yeah, the read doesn't have to be always the first read. I mean, this guy's Russ Wilson.
That's a bad play call if that's your depth.
That is not a bad – if this is Bailey Zappi, Bailey Zappi is making this play. How are you defending Russ Wilson because it's a terrible play
I'm
call?
not defending Russell Wilson. I'm saying that this is a fundamentally problematic offense.
How is it that every quarterback in the league can get through a read, but Russ Wilson, it should be the first read every time, or it's a bad play call? That doesn't make sense to me.
I'm really not
and then
Russell Wilson.
Even though Russell did make a few plays that we saw from his classic Seahawks days where he ran around, make a couple throws downfield, but, like you guys were saying, he doesn't look like the Russell Wilson that he used to. And one of those big throws downfield was right before halftime when he hit Jerry Jeudy or KJ Hamler for the 47-yarder. And or he underthrew. Maybe it was. It might not
he couldn't step into that throw, but that's right. Like
there's
a defender in front of him. So
no, I think Jeudy caught a 37-yarder at some point in the game. I'm getting not that the Hamler one was just wild. That was good job by everyone. But he underthrew Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy could have scored on his. It was just he doesn't look like he can put.
I mean, I don't know if there's another defender to the left because you can't see it. Or just looking at this, you could just like flip the ball over to the left. I think that's Melvin Gordon, and he's just waltzing for a first down.
Or throw it in the middle of the field. I mean,
you're looking run. Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of
looking that way.
But like again, this is sort of my point. Is like if
and the other part here is that he gets sacked on this play.
That's impossible.
Again, like you don't want to be like you don't want to be screenshot X and O's guys, but as we sit here watching this screenshot, it seems pretty obvious what should happen. And I get it, like the people are flying in your face, you're 5'10" or whatever, but there's a clear reality to throw the ball in the middle of the field. He's not doing it. He holds onto the ball. I feel like he's not seeing the field very well. I mentioned those when he gets blitzed and Cortland Sutton's running a shallow wide ass open on at least 2 occasions that I paid attention to. He did not throw the ball. I think he got sacked on both of those. It just happens repeatedly. And it's like he is a first-year quarterback who's coming from a D3 program, and he'd only play that D3 program 1 year after transferring from a community college that didn't have a football program. Like that's what he looks like.